Hi, I'm artist Jenny Floravita and welcome back to my art channel. Today I'm going to show you how I painted those watercolor flowers in Fort Bragg. I'm going to do that closer to real time. Here I'm spreading out all my paints. You can see my paints are a mixture of Daniel Smith and Winsor Newton. I like to try different brands, but those two, I really like their pigments. And I brought a whole bunch of brushes to choose from. When I'm getting ready for a trip, I'm usually packing at the very last minute, so I'll just grab all my brushes, and that way I won't be missing anything. I'm a very busy artist. I make a beautiful line of reverse painted glass chandeliers, and you can see those on my website, floravitalights.com. Anyway, I make the glass bowls, we produce the iron fixtures, I do all of the painting, and I also make oil and watercolor paintings, and I have a beautiful line of contemporary mixed media art as well. When I'm taking a break for a weekend to go paint somewhere, I'm literally I might be packing my suitcase 30 minutes before I leave. I'm usually right on up to the end working on projects and custom work, so that's kind of how it goes in my studio. I find it much easier just to have all my brushes with me. So the pink flower here, I saw this at the Mendocino Botanical Garden. It was so beautiful and it was backlit, and that's what I want to paint today. This was actually my second day of painting, and I want to approach this flower with painting the shadows first. It was such a delicate flower, and I felt like the shadows would just allow me to give it a little bit of form. I'm using a flat brush. And these are soft violet colors, and the flower is going to be a pink flower. So when this is dry, I'm going to do the glazing of the pink colors on top. Here I'm adding just a little bit of kind of like a scarlet red color, and the thing about pink flowers is a lot of times they'll actually have a little bit of red, and if you can find where those flowers have a little bit of red in them, the flower will be more interesting. Sometimes instead of red, it might be a little bit of orange or a little bit of yellow. So now that I've got the gesture of the flower and the shadows painted, I'm going to let this dry, and I'm going to paint another flower, another pink flower, just like that. And because this flower is so similar in how I'm going to approach it, I decided to skip showing you the painting part, move back to the part where I'm just going to do the glazing. When I was in college, I took a time off from doing classes in the art department, and I did a year of classes in the science illustration program. The school that I went to, which was UC Santa Cruz, they had a wonderful teacher, and she illustrated for the Monterey Bay Aquarium, and she taught the science illustration program, and that was actually a graduate program. So I have a lot of respect for botanical artists. So the flower to the left, I painted in the same way, and I figure you probably don't want to see that process repeated, but the underpainting is dry, so I figured it's time to go back and add some fun color, and these were pink flowers. Most brands have really beautiful pinks. For example, Daniel Smith has opera pink, and Winsor Newton has a permanent rose. And the pink here is a Hoblin Artist Watercolor Bright Rose. For the leaves, I'm using a flat brush and I'm loading it with a couple different colors of paint. I'm using green gold and a little bit of yellow ochre and maybe a little bit of sap green, and then some burnt umber. Because of the cloud cover and the fog and the fact that Mendocino doesn't get too hot and sunny, you can grow a lot of really big leafed plants there. So this is a scene from the very back of the botanical garden. You can walk all the way back to the ocean. This was such a beautiful and unusually bright blue, sunny day. It was perfect. It was absolutely perfect for a stroll through a garden. So, and I'll tell you that afternoon, I did paint, and it was so bright out that I couldn't see my colors after a while. I had a little bit of a snow blindness, I felt, after looking at white watercolor paper. These paintings here, they're actually done the very next day, which was more typical of Fort Bragg, and it was overcast. And this little cove is at the very back of the garden. So now I'm doing some shadow work, and it's a lot of dry brush. You can take your painting further if you just add just a little bit more after the piece is dry. So this beach is you can overlook it from the Mendocino Bluff area. Mendocino was an artist colony for a long time, and you can go and shop in galleries and walk the town. It has a beautiful overlook. Lots of artists really love to paint the area. It's very inspiring. These little squiggly lines, they're going to add a lot of little character and movement so that the flowers don't become stiff. If you prefer seeing me paint flowers more in real time, let me know. I actually did speed up the painting process through the whole video. I want to say in the beginning part it was like 1.5 times or 2 times the speed that I actually painted at. And here I'm probably painting at 3 times the speed. But if you prefer to see me paint in real time, let me know in the comments below. Or if you prefer to see me paint in a sped up version, let me know. It's all good feedback. And if there's flowers that you would love to see me paint or beaches, put those in the comments below. It's all helpful. The details in this white flower, I'm making them from the gray areas on my palette. If you've watched my video, you'll see that my palette gets, I let all the colors run around, and then that's where you get these really beautiful grays, and they're already set up, and I'm just grabbing those from the palette, and then to add a little bit of sharpness and a little bit of definition, I'm going thicker with the paint, and I'm using pure pigment and getting some of those really dark areas. It adds some really nice contrast. And you can see right here I'm going to soften the edges, and that's the technique that I was talking about earlier. You can add the lines and you can go back and soften them. And here I'm just going to paint freestyle, and I'm pulling different blues. I'm pulling cobalt blue and French ultramarine blue and some Winsor violet. And I'm using the white of the paper. So I'm not going to get too detailed on these flowers here. I'm working with the gesture, and I'm going to leave the white of the paper for the accents. This was just a really interesting afternoon. It was fun to be able to paint and know that it's not a commission. I could do whatever I wanted. The flowers and leaves and the shapes didn't have to be perfect. They could all be practice. It was very low pressure, and I think that's something that artists should do more in general. Just set a little time aside every week or a couple times a month and just paint. Just allow yourself to experiment. The longer I paint, the more open I am to learning new techniques. As an artist, you've always got to keep learning and growing and practicing and painting. And hey, if you just love watching videos like this, but you're not an artist, let me know what you like the most. Let me know if you would like to see flowers. Let me know if you would like to see landscapes. Sometimes I paint in oil. I'm a professional artist. I've been painting professionally for over 20 years. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and like the video, hit the bell notification. All of this helps me. If you'd like to see more of my work, you can see my art at floravitalights.com, and I have an art newsletter, and you can sign up in the links below. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful and artful afternoon.